Excuse my foul language, but these birds have been begging for a new home. They've been living in this one for quite some time, and we at the Four Horsemen Brewery have decided to migrate them to a better location, just across the fence line. So we're going to be putting together a nice and safe upgrade to their living facilities. Stick around and take some notes. So here you can see a nice little outline of the new living facility. In the market, in Washington housing market, floor plan like this, in a living situation like this, it's probably going to cost you a couple $100,000. But because we're doing it ourselves, it's going to be much cheaper. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is whenever you're putting together a chicken coop or fencing off a little chicken area, a really smart thing to do is put this wire mesh on the ground, because that's going to prevent any burrowing creatures from getting into the chicken area, and prevent you from losing a lot of money on food. Now, rats love to create little tunnels, and they'll pop up and they'll take the chicken's eggs and the chicken feed, and you're going to notice it in how much money you're spending on the food to grow your chickens and to get the yield that you're desiring from them. So once we put this in here, it's going to be a lot less maintenance in the future, to make sure that we're not just throwing money away for a rat to enjoy. Now, this isn't Demolition Man, so we can't be making rat burgers and making it worth our while. So next best thing, put some wire mesh on the ground and call it a day. So once we're done with this, on a probably separate video, we're going to be putting up the walls for this living facility, and after that, we're going to be migrating the chickens. Now, one thing to tell you is we're also going to be putting some wood mulch on the ground. It's not going to be just wire mesh, and the best thing to use is probably pine. Cedar is good too, but from our reading, cedar can cause some ill effects for younger chickens. So if you go ahead and use pine, you're going to have a much better time with the health and the happiness of the chickens. Now here you're going to see our big chicken coop that we got from the neighbors just a little bit ago. We're going to be taking our forklift 98141. That's probably the year that it was made, before we switched to the Gregorian calendar. So it's been around for a day or two, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to be moving this big boy chicken coop out of the way, and we are going to be cutting the legs to size. When we got this from the neighbor's house, it was mounted in concrete in the ground, and when they cut the legs off just to transport it to our facility, it was sitting a little bit crooked. So we went ahead and picked it up with a forklift and measured to the shortest leg that they had, which was 22.5 inches, and we're just going to be evening every leg to that length, which still going to make it pretty good. Now you'd think, how are you picking this thing up with your forklift? Well, the forks aren't that long, so what we did was put a couple of 4x4s on the forks, and we mounted them with some straps and used them as an extension, right? So here's another tip you can put into your notebook. If you need to extend your forks, 4x4s can work. This chicken coop was easily 800 pounds, and with the extension forks, we could pick it up and move it very slowly. So now the grueling process that luckily you didn't have to endure, of putting the chicken coop into this tight space, begins. First thing, We're gonna have to pick up the netting up above, just so we can fit it in there, no problem, without ripping anything. And then the 1,000-point turns we had to make to get this thing in there was just entertaining, to say the least. Entertaining. If we were to do this any other way, we probably would have put the chicken coop in first and then everything else around it. But because we did start this project a while back, we just had to do what we had to do. All that dirt underground was actually from a gutter system that was on this chicken coop, and we didn't need it in there, so we tore it off, and all of that dirt and wasp's nest came flying down upon our hands and heads. It was a little exciting, we needed it. But yeah, once we got in there and wedged the tractor in between all of these posts, we managed to set the chicken coop down, and now the fun process of getting out. It was fun. Some things got bent, some things got moved. Our wire mesh on the ground turned into an absolute artwork, but we got it done, and we managed to succeed in our attempts to complete this process. So once we get done with this, here's another thing you put into your notes. The mulch that we're going to be putting on here, as I mentioned, will be pine. What you can do is, instead of buying it, which you can if you'd like, and if you have extra income, why not? But if you want to save a couple bucks, you can reach out to landscapers that also provide the service of mulching up the wood, or if they have a what do they call that? Like a tree chopper kind of type deal. And you can reach out to them because they usually just take that excess tree mulch that they get from your yard from mulching your trees, and they have to get rid of it one way or another. They have to throw it away, take it to the dump, which costs money. So if you give them a call and just talk to them, most of the time you can get them to deliver you some free mulch, and use it as you like. So that'll save you a couple $100. So yeah, now you can take a look at our beautiful artwork on the ground. This used to be so yummy and straight, and now it looks like the fabric of space-time. The gravitational waves have come in and distorted it. Here you can see a couple of rifts in time and space, and also some black holes and some wormholes. So watch out when you're stepping on these, because they might take you to another universe. Well, thanks for hanging with us, and come back later for more tips and tricks.